So you're just going along, living your life, living your story, and all these other people seem to be getting in the way. Don't they know you have a story to be living and telling? What's the deal? What if you are not always the protagonist in a situation? What if not every story that you are in is about you? What would that be like? Let's talk today about what it is to not be the protagonist in your story. Life is a story, but it's not all about you. We need to realize that there are a million competing stories going on all at once at any given moment. We often see ourselves as the hero in whatever situation is happening, or at least the main character, the one that this plot is revolving around. But so does every other person in the situation. Every other person at the grocery store is there thinking of themselves as the protagonist in this situation. Who are you in their story? If theirs is the narrative being told with them as the main character, who are you? Maybe you're just a background color. Maybe you're the petty annoyance. You're probably not an important piece of the puzzle. How would that change the story that you are narrating in your own head about your own life if you shifted that narrator's perspective to make you the sidekick in other people's stories? I'm Misty Winkler, and I want to help you shift your perspective to focus on truth, goodness, and beauty in your home and family life so that you can manage it with calm clarity and manage it for the glory of God. If you want to continue receiving these weekly bite-sized doses of encouragement and truth, then be sure to click the like button, because then YouTube will show you videos like this one. And YouTube will also show it to other people like you. So if you want to share this message, make it more visible in the world, click the like button and keep watching. Sometimes our inner narrator gets a little wound up tight. The situation seems tense, difficult, problematic, and we don't know what we should do. What if part of our problem is seeing ourselves as the main point, the big deal in the situation, when we really aren't? What if we tried to ease the tension and the trouble, sidestep the overwhelm, calm ourselves down by changing the perspective of our story? Instead of thinking of the particularly troubling incident as its own drama, with ourself as the misunderstood hero, think about what happened in its larger context, with millions of others at the exact same moment in time experiencing illness, death, birth, hunger, and many other much more important troubles than our own. It might help us deal with it, do the right thing, and not inflate the issue and ourselves. I know that it's difficult to step back and get perspective on my own situation, but it doesn't make it less effective or less needful. We need to not be disillusioned nor hardened. It's often my own stubborn bad attitude that prevents me from taking a deep breath and shifting my focus off of myself. But if I can humble myself and not be the main deal going on, then I can remember and realize that life is a story, and that story is not all about me. Because it's not about me, I need to pay attention to the sort of character I am being in other people's stories. What if I saw the story being told as someone else's biography, and here I am, a little side note character? Who would I want to be in their story? We can use that question and that perspective to help us see a more humble and loving response. It is how we speak and what we speak to others that makes us friends or foes, helps or hindrances, allies or villains. How we actually treat others is more important than how others treat us. And it's definitely more important than our own ideas about what we think we are like. To be a friend to others and a supportive character in their story, we have to be kind. To be a hero to them, we must think of their needs first. It's harder than it seems like it ought to be, but it is worth it. Think of a time one of your children had an issue that you did not want to deal with. Think of the story as their story instead of your own. If we love our children, we need to be loving to them. And sometimes it's harder than it seems like it ought to be, but it really is not complicated. Love is patient and kind. It is not irritable or resentful. If I don't love my children in truth, in action, in word, then in their story, I am more like a wicked stepmother than a loving parent. And no matter what I tell myself, it is my actions that prove my character. Life is a story, and it's not all about our own selves. Therefore, we have to think of other people's stories before our own. This is putting other people's interests ahead of our own. How can we respond so that conflicts resolve towards a happy ending for their story? When we think about finding a solution to a problem, do we think about only the way we want this story to turn out? But we are not the only ones involved. What response can you make that is a right action for you and helpful for them? It doesn't mean always giving people what they want, but it does mean not being grabby or rude or harsh. This is a win-win situation. One way to win is to help others win and to find your happiness in helping them. Let's respond to others in any situation in such a way that we are not the villain of their story, but a helpful sidekick. Telling ourselves truth and good stories is how we organize our attitude. We put our perspective, our attitude in place by telling ourselves the truth. That means we have to know truth and repeat truth and live it. And that is what we learn to do inside Simply Convivial Continuing Education. In fact, we have a whole course that is 12 modules with bite-sized lessons all about organizing our attitudes and fulfilling our responsibilities. If you want to learn more about that, just go to simplyconvivial.com and click the green enroll button at the top. We start by organizing our attitude, and then downstream from there, we are able to organize the rest of the house. But it starts with us. So come start with us at simplyconvivial.com and click that green enroll button.